From the station working for you, this is Good Morning Indiana, streaming now.
It's Wednesday, August 26th, and right now on Good Morning Indiana.
They told me if I didn't pay the full amount that they couldn't do anything about it, that I was going to be evicted.
Thousands of Hoosiers could soon face eviction notices. We're live this morning with the deadline Hoosiers needing rent assistance now face.
This morning on Good Morning Indiana, all the efforts going into making sure that students and teachers are safe and why Wednesdays matter.
I'm Maya Rodriguez in Iberia Parish, Louisiana, just one of the coastal areas in this state, and one where people say they just aren't going to leave for Hurricane Laura. Coming up, why they say stay is the best option.
Plus, in just 69 days, Hoosiers will head to the polls for Election Day. Working for you, how a meeting scheduled for today could decide where you cast your ballot.
Good morning and welcome to Good Morning Indiana. Of course, I enjoy starting my day off with my good friends Lauren and Todd. But today I'm going to vote to change my friends to ice cream and slushies. It's going to be a hot one out there, guys. I'm sorry you've been replaced.
Oh, man. Well, we'll take you up on that original lunch offer maybe later this fall when we can enjoy the patio.
I've been waiting.
I know. Todd, it is going to be a hot one again out there today.
Yeah, you know, third day in a row, we're probably getting up to 90 degrees here across the area. That makes it an official heat wave for us. And tomorrow we have the opportunity maybe to get to 90 degrees as well, but definitely not a guarantee like it will be later on this afternoon. Starting you off in the 60s and 70s this morning. 68 in Bloomington, 75 though in Muncie, Indianapolis at 73 degrees. A little bit of patchy fog out there in spots this morning, but you notice all the visibilities are at a mile or higher now, so that's better than where we were a little while ago when we had some visibilities down to about a half a mile. So things are already starting to improve. As soon as the sun comes up, we'll burn any fog off very, very quickly, and we'll have lots of sunshine. Storm track today is a little further to the north. Yesterday, I know we built in a few isolated storms there in the afternoon hours. Today, they should stay away. We're looking at mostly sunny skies, kind of hazy sunshine. Not so much because of the humidity, but some of the smoke from the forest fires out west are moving across the country, so that's going to kind of filter the sunshine a little bit. It's made for some pretty nice sunsets, though, across the area. Today, though, before we get to sunset, a high of about 93 degrees. We'll talk more about the changes for the weekend in just a few minutes, Lauren.
All right, Todd, thanks so much. Let's take a look at traffic as you're heading out the door early on this Wednesday. This is a live look over at traffic on the west side, I-465 near I-74 and Crawfordsville Road. Good morning to you. Traffic here is picking up, as you can see, in all directions. Right now, I'm not monitoring any crashes to slow you down around the metro area, and that is great news for your Wednesday morning commute. Raphael?
Right now, only on WRTV, an inside look at an effort to keep students, teachers, and staff safe during this pandemic. Schools on hybrid schedules are scheduling extra sanitizing of classrooms, restrooms, and the cafeteria. This is what's happening when kids are not in class. Jeremy Hoskins is at work. He's a head custodian at Franklin Community Middle School.
This is something we started doing to do an extra step in sanitizing.
On Wednesdays, he and a team of 7 have plenty of room to do extra cleaning. Kids are on a hybrid schedule. Half attend Mondays and Tuesdays, the other half Thursdays and Fridays.
What it comes down to make sure that we're doing our part and we can stand behind it saying we feel it's good for the kids to come in, for our teachers to come in.
Custodians are using a hypochlorous spray to clean high traffic areas. The school system says it consulted with the county health department before using it. Beyond classrooms, bathrooms are a main target of sanitizing, as is the cafeteria, which has undergone changes to allow for social distancing. Franklin Community High School is on the same timetable as the middle school. The elementary schools, which are offering in-person learning every day, have separate cleaning schedules.
The same equipment, the same cleaning processes, the same checklists of cleaning tasks are in effect at all of our buildings. We just fit that in at different times of the day.
Days like this are the new normal, as everyone is working to avoid shutdowns and keep schools safe and open. The district tells me it's using the hypochlorous spray because they say it leaves no residue, it is safe to the touch, and there's also no smell. Another safety issue here at the school district, kids are not using their lockers to avoid any hanging out in the hallway. The goal is to keep everyone socially distant. Lauren?
Raphael, thank you. The time right now is 6:05. Let's take a look at how the coronavirus is impacting Hoosiers across our state. This morning, state health officials report 841 new cases of COVID-19, meaning that since the pandemic began, more than 88,000 Hoosiers have tested positive for the virus. Over the last 7 days, nearly 7% of Indiana's coronavirus tests have come back positive. So let's dive a little deeper, right, and look at the number of cases over the last 4 days. We just reported on Tuesday, state health officials counted 841 new coronavirus cases. That's nearly 200 more cases than were reported on Monday, but nearly 200 less than were reported on Saturday. The state releases new data each day at noon.
This morning, it is a race against the clock for those needing help paying their rent. Working for you right now, our Kelsey Anderson is live with what you need to know. Kelsey, good morning.
Hey, good morning, Raphael. So if you are someone who needs that rental assistance right now during this pandemic, this story is for you. So make sure you're listening up because the major assistance program, that deadline is today. So the deadline to apply for the statewide program, now this does not include Marion County, is today at 11:59 p.m. Now the website is indianahousingnow.org and it will officially close tonight at 11:59. State Senate Democratic leader Tim Lannon says yesterday he sent a letter to Governor Holcomb asking him to extend that program. Now, if you live in Marion County, there's a different program for you, which you can find at indyrent.org. According to the website, as long as funds are available, groups of 1,000 applicants at a time will be invited to complete an application for assistance. People will be chosen in the order that they appear on the waiting list. So again, if you are outside of Marion County, that website, is indianahousingnow.org. It closes today unless Governor Holcomb extends it. So we will let you know if there is an extension if we find out about one later today. Reporting live, Kelsey Anderson, WRTV.
Kelsey, thank you. It is 6:07 at this hour. Hurricane Laura is turning closer to the U.S. Gulf Coast. The strengthening storm is forecast to make landfall near the Louisiana and Texas border this morning. Scripps reporter Maya Rodriguez is in Louisiana, where the impacts from the storm could be felt in just a few hours.
Here along the Cajun coast, people are doing anything they can to protect themselves and their property before Laura's landfall. This is an area that is very susceptible to flooding. Most people here learn to live with the water, with rivers and bayous throughout the area and with the Gulf of Mexico nearby. But what Laura is expected to bring is so much more than what they are used to here, potentially with winds of a Category 3 hurricane and storm surge of 10 feet. People who live here say they're taking advantage of sandbagging stations set up throughout the area, telling us they've been through storms like this before and plan to ride it out.
I just wanted to do this as a precautionary measure, just to prevent the water from coming in the house through the doorway.
I'm more worried about being without power than anything else. I mean, I live in a trailer. It's been there for like 30 years. It's kind of sunk in the ground. So I think I'll be okay.
There are a number of emergency shelters now open in the area, but people have told us they hesitate to go there because of concerns about the coronavirus. This is an area where people make a living off of the water, and they've learned to live with the water, but that water is now a threat. Many of the shrimp boats here have come back to their docks ahead of Laura. In Iberia Parish, Louisiana, I'm Maya Rodriguez reporting.
Maya, thank you. Now, meteorologist Todd Clausen is tracking Hurricane Laura. And Todd, what's the latest on the path this morning?
You know, the storm has strengthened, Lauren, with the new update that came in at 5 o'clock from the National Hurricane Center. Sustained winds now at 110 miles per hour, and it's now expected to strengthen into a Category 4 major hurricane before it makes landfall. This is the infrared satellite picture, and you can see the eye. What I want to point out are these two comma-shaped looking areas. You have this one here, and then you have a second one. This shows the winds going into the eye of the storm. It shows a very strong and healthy storm. The symmetrical shape of not only the eye, but the storm itself means there's no wind shear. Wind shear tears these storms apart. So unfortunately, this storm looks like it will continue to strengthen here this morning from what it is now at a Category 2 storm, probably making landfall as a strong Category 3 or Category 4 storm as we head into the early morning hours tomorrow. And then the storm, as it makes its way further north through the United States into Arkansas, southern Missouri, makes a hard right turn, and that's because there's a front coming through at the same time. So between the front coming through and the remnants of Laura passing to our south, we are expecting some rainfall and obviously cloud cover from this storm system as we work our way into Friday night and a Saturday morning. But it does look like the heaviest of the rainfall is going to stay to our south. I'll show you your 7-day planning forecast coming up in Maine weather in just a few minutes.
All right, Todd, thanks for breaking that down for us. And this morning, dozens of Hoosiers are heading to the Gulf Coast to help with the hurricane efforts. 25 members of Indiana Task Force 1 deployed Tuesday evening. The urban search and rescue team includes emergency responders from various backgrounds from all across the state. The crew will perform water rescues if needed.
A big decision expected in just a few hours, impacting where thousands of people will vote. WRTV's Alyssa Donovan is live this morning, and she tells us what is on the table. Alyssa, good morning to you.
Good morning, Raphael. This morning, the Marion County Election Board is meeting to determine their finalized plan for voting centers for the upcoming November election. Now, in the delayed primary election held in June, there were only 22 locations where voters could cast their ballots on Election Day, which led to very long lines, and that was due to lack of poll workers. But according to Russell Hollis of the Marion County Clerk's Office, around 1,300 poll workers have signed up for the November election. They need about 2,000 total. Hollis said they would like to staff about 200 vote centers. There were about 270 in November of 2019. The board will also be discussing changes to improve in-person voting, like using larger spaces for voting centers.
We're doing everything that we can to help prevent those long lines.
Today, the election board will also determine the number of early voting sites. Early in-person voting is expected to begin on October 6th, and you need to be registered to vote by October 5th. And if you want more details on the election voting plan, you can tune into the governor's press conference at 2:30 today. It is expected to be addressed at that time. Reporting live, I'm Alyssa Donovan, WRTV.
Alyssa, thank you. The time right now is 6:13. The downtown Indianapolis skyline will see a makeover. The City County Council Committee approved an expansion to the Indiana Convention Center. That expansion includes a 50,000 square foot ballroom and 2 hotels. The $155 million project will be funded by the downtown TIF district. A privately funded 42-level Hilton Signia will anchor the space. The addition will be built in Pan Am Plaza. A full council vote will happen next month.
Indy cars may be bringing a new tune to the 2021 schedule. Still ahead, which city could be the latest addition to the Indy car schedule.
But first, college athletic programs across the country are struggling thanks to canceled games from the coronavirus pandemic. Just ahead this morning, what one group of Indiana coaches are doing to help their program. At 6:13, stick around. We'll be right back. Welcome back. This morning, school districts across the Hoosier State are feeling the impacts of the coronavirus. Up in Northwest Indiana, the East Chicago School District is cutting staff after moving to virtual learning. School officials say remote learning has led to a cut in state funding. The cuts include janitors, bus aides, security officers, and paraprofessionals. School officials say the layoffs are intended to be temporary.
Lauren, Purdue coaches are taking a voluntary pay cut as COVID-19 is taking a toll on their athletic budgets. So coaches want to help the university deal with the revenue loss. The Purdue head coach, football coach, the men's and women's basketball coaches, and the athletic director have all agreed to a voluntary 20% salary cut. Other Purdue coaches have agreed to a 15% salary reduction. Time now to check your forecast. And Todd Clausen, it's going to be another hot day today. You were saying, so are we in the middle of a heat wave?
It takes 3 consecutive days of 90-degree temperatures or higher to officially be classified as a heat wave from the National Weather Service. We've done it 2 days now, and today, Raphael, I do think we get to that 90-degree threshold, making it an official heat wave. So it's been a pretty cool month to start here in August, but certainly as we go through this last full week of August, we've been dealing with a lot of heat and humidity. So your weather headlines this morning, it's warm. There's some patchy fog out there as well. It's not super dense, it's not super widespread, but I want to point it out to you just in case you do have to get on the roadways here this morning. This afternoon, hazy sunshine. It gets hot really quick again. The temperatures climb very fast today, and then this evening, hot and dry. A live look there from IMS towards downtown Indianapolis. Temperatures currently sit in the 60s and 70s, so it's a warm morning for us once again. Your satellite radar picture, at least locally here, is pretty quiet. As I expand out, I want to point out a few things here. Yesterday, if you joined us on Good Morning Indiana, we had some storms moving through Milwaukee and Chicago. You can see the storm track has been pushed a little further to the north. Instead, the storms this morning are making their way through the central portion of Michigan. And that's because high pressure has kind of made its way a little further to the east and kind of pushed its way eastward. And as a result, the storm track is a little further off to our north and to our east here this morning. So that's why I think we will likely today see our temperatures climb up into the 90s, but also there's only a really small chance today of a spot storm in our forecast. This evening, as we go forward, temperatures will fall back down into only the mid 80s by 8 p.m. as the sun starts to set. So it's a hot day for us. And then looking ahead to the day tomorrow, some changes start to occur. We bring back in the chance of some scattered storms to the area, and with the additional cloud cover around and the rain chances, we're looking at temperatures running a little bit cooler. If we can keep the clouds away long enough, it's not out of the question tomorrow that we could touch 90 degrees, but I think most likely most locations will fall just short. As far as the storms go, you see on TrueCast tomorrow, they're going to be pretty spotty in nature, but some of these storms could produce some lightning and some gusty winds. That's something we'll have to keep an eye on for you. And then we get a little bit of a break throughout the morning hours on Friday. But watch what happens Friday afternoon. Rain chances come back up. And then as we work our way into the early morning hours on Saturday, we'll have better rain chances across especially the southern portion of central Indiana. And that is due to the remnants of Laura moving through Kentucky. We'll be on the northern fringe. So we're not looking at a lot in the way of rainfall. But I do think we will have numerous showers and storms Friday night into Saturday because there's also a front coming through. That front's what's keeping Laura to our south and pushing it off to the east pretty quick. And once that front goes through Saturday afternoon, we should be in much better shape. 82 degrees on Saturday, so it's cooler. Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, highs only right around 80 degrees. Morning lows in the 50s there Sunday and Monday morning. Sunday looks to be mostly sunny and the better day of the weekend. Lauren?
All right, Todd, thank you so much. We do have a traffic alert for drivers right now in areas to our west. Take a look right here at I-70. This is near State Road 267 where we have a crash that is completely blocking the eastbound lanes. You can see all the traffic there on the eastbound side of the interstate at a complete standstill for this crash cleanup. So here's what you need to do to avoid this backup. As you're traveling eastbound on the interstate, you get to around the Monrovia area. You want to take State Road 39 northbound. There you can connect with US 40. Take that eastbound towards the Indianapolis area to avoid this morning. No word yet on what is happening at that crash site, but of course, as we get more details, we'll keep you updated. Raphael?
A Music City may soon become a racing city. Officials in Nashville, Tennessee say they're close to finalizing a deal with IndyCar to host a race. Now, if approved, the race will take drivers through the streets of downtown Nashville. A decision is expected to be made in the coming weeks. Our Scripps station in Nashville reports the race will be run in 2021, although a specific date has not been selected.
Well, lots of people are busy booking their fall and spring vacations already, and a number of them are choosing RV rentals. Just after the break, our John Matarese takes a look at the cost involved so you don't waste your money. We'll see you on the other side. Welcome back to Good Morning Indiana. The time right now is 6:24. Raphael, it's time to talk about what is trending at 6.
So when you
when I tell you the story, you're going to think about the music Footloose. That's all I have to say, because when I thought about it, I go, it's Footloose. So it's mango for bacon. You see, Kevin Bacon's tutorial on how he makes morning mango is getting a lot of attention. He makes it for breakfast. I'm thinking Footloose, though. I'm dancing to Footloose. Now, we're talking about hundreds of thousands of likes and thousands of comments. His recipe for this breakfast deal includes some lime juice, some chili powder, and sea salt. The video is being called mesmerizing, soothing, peaceful, and that it triggers, get this, an autonomous sensory meridian response, or a ASMR.
Okay.
I think the music is better. I'm going to dance to Footloose.
He's rocking that COVID hairstyle too, Raphael, so you got to check that out. Okay, so talk about some serious download speed. A team of engineers set a new record for data transmission over the internet. It's fast enough to download everything on Netflix, and get this, Raphael, 1 second. The University College London team reached a rate of 178 terabits a second. That's a fifth faster than the world record set in April by a Japanese team. We are nowhere near being close to that at my home or where I grew up in Bargersville. Things were very slow.
You'll get there, don't you worry.
Yeah, eventually.
Don't you worry. Hey, a big congratulations this morning to Ethan Locke. Ethan is our hometown hero on this Wednesday. Ethan made some face mask holders on his home 3D printer and donated those holders to the Greenwood Fire Department. Thank you to him, and we appreciate all those who are doing their best during this pandemic. Now time to check your forecast on this Wednesday with our Todd Clausen. It's gonna be another hot one. TK?
It is, Raphael. Temperatures today going back up into the 90s. As you walk out the door right now, temperatures are in the 60s and 70s if you're thinking about working out. Obviously, with the temperatures a little bit cooler here this morning, probably better than later on this afternoon. About 92 to 93 degrees today with mostly sunny skies, but then you notice some changes starting to occur on our 3-day planner here. Tomorrow we get close to 90 degrees, and it's going to depend on how quickly the clouds move in and those storms move in. About a 30% chance of scattered storms tomorrow afternoon. Better storm chances as we get into Friday and then eventually early Saturday. That's because Friday evening, that is when the remnants of what is now Hurricane Laura will be heading in our direction. We'll break down not only these 3 days for you, but the rest of your 7-day planning forecast coming up in the next half hour of Good Morning Indiana.
All right, Todd, thanks so much. Well, since the start of the pandemic, more people are considering renting campers as a more safe vacation option, but they may not be for everybody. So working for you, our John Matarese weighs the pros and cons so you don't waste your money.
Instead of dealing with planes, trains, and automobiles and hotels, a lot of travelers are thinking of renting an RV for upcoming fall or spring trips. And while it's a great way to avoid COVID-19, there are a few downsides to know about. It's the vacation rage of 2020, according to Money Magazine, renting an RV, motorhome, or camper. Money calls them virus-friendly, since you drive across the country with your own bedroom and kitchen. But Money says many people end up surprised at the total cost. Rental can range from $100 to $300 per night, similar to a hotel. But campsites are another $50 to $150 a night. And since they get just 4 to 10 miles per gallon, gas can cost $75 to $100 per day. And from the Doesn't That Stink file, the biggest cost surprise for many people, insurance. Your auto insurance may not cover the full value of that RV, and your credit card may not cover it at all. You may have to pay $25 or more per day for RV insurance. But in the end, it's still cheaper than a $500 a night luxury resort. And you have your own COVID-free accommodations, which can be well worth the cost. Bottom line, campers are a great way to stay safe during the pandemic. Just know the costs involved so you don't waste your money. I'm John Matarese. Good Morning, Indiana.
From the station working for you, this is Good Morning Indiana, streaming now.
Now on Good Morning Indiana on this Wednesday morning, here's a look at your 6:30 news feed. 2 teens are in the hospital following gunfire on the city's east side. Metro Police say 2 teens with gunshot wounds drove up to a patrol vehicle near East 10th Street and Linwood just after 1 this morning. A 15-year-old was taken to the hospital in critical condition. An 18-year-old was also taken to the hospital. We're told that he's expected to survive.
Hamilton County is launching a new effort to help fight the devastation of drug overdoses. County health departments are partnering to provide overdose boxes to local businesses and hopefully save more lives. The kits include gloves and 2 doses of the nasal spray Narcan. The county says that many overdoses happen in restaurants and hotels, and if these businesses are equipped, they can help out before emergency crews arrive.
If you like the street closures along Mass Avenue and Broad Ripple, enjoy them while you can. The Department of Public Works says the pedestrian corridors in those areas will reopen to traffic after Labor Day weekend. However, businesses that have expanded seating into parking spaces may continue to operate in those locations, and they will still be protected by concrete barriers. Welcome to Good Morning Indiana on this Wednesday. If you step outside and if you think about complaining, I want you to consider this. Both Todd and Lauren. Right now, it is 90 degrees in Phoenix. Like right now, 90 degrees. Ooh. The expected high in Arizona, 113 degrees. So Hoosiers, we're going to be okay.
It has been a hot couple of days here across central Indiana. We had a little taste of the cooler weather, which I kind of liked, Todd. But, we can't be too picky, as Raphael said.
Yeah, but it's a dry heat, Raphael, in Arizona. It's that dry heat, so it doesn't feel as bad. It's been a really hot stretch of weather out across not only Phoenix, but much of the West. So, temperatures here, 90s a couple days. I think we can handle it. Today will be the 3rd day in a row, though we get into the 90s. Here's a live look from IMS looking back towards downtown Indianapolis, and the sky's just starting to brighten a little bit here this morning. The temperature in Indy right now sits at 73 degrees, 72 in Lafayette, Bloomington currently at 68. A little bit of visibility issues in spots. Downtown, it's not an issue. To the north, not much of an issue. Just reduced a little bit there as you work your way through Greensburg and then over towards the Terre Haute area on I-70. But the skies are clear. We'll have plenty of sunshine once the sun does come up. And as we work our way throughout the day today, temperatures will warm very quickly, already into the mid-80s by the noon hour. Highs today will top off in the low 90s, most likely between the 3 and 4 o'clock hour. But as you see, it remains very warm into the evening hours as well. Tomorrow, we bring back storms into the forecast. More on that and a look ahead to your weekend in just a few minutes.
All right, Todd, thank you. I want to take you back out to that traffic alert we told you about in the last half hour. This is I-70 near State Road 267. You can see traffic at a complete standstill there. That's the eastbound side of the interstate. We do have a crash closing all the lanes near State Road 267. So as you're traveling eastbound, you'll want to try and get off the interstate by State Road 39. That's sort of in the Monrovia area. You can take that northbound up to US 40, take that eastbound then and reroute as you're heading towards the Indianapolis area. Give yourself that extra time to reroute this morning, and we'll let you know when things open back up. At 6:32, if you need help making your monthly rent payments, an initiative that doled out tens of thousands of dollars so far is now coming to a close. The applications for a statewide assistance program will close later today, and so our Kelsey Anderson is joining us live this morning with what families needing help need to do by the end of the day today. Kelsey, good morning.
Hey, good morning, Lauren. So as you said, if you are someone right now who is struggling with rent payments, listen up because this story could help you out. A major assistance program is set to expire today. So the deadline to apply for the statewide program that does not include Marion County is today at 11:59. That website is indianahousingnow.org. And again, that will close tonight at 11:59. So you want to make sure if you do need that assistance, you're getting on that website earlier in the day instead of waiting till 11 o'clock. State Senate Democratic leader Tim Lannon says yesterday he did send a letter to Governor Holcomb asking him to extend that program. Again, that is only for people, or that's for all of Indiana except for Marion County. Now, if you live in Marion County, there's a different program which you can find at indyrent.org. According to their website, as long as funds are available, groups of 1,000 applicants at a time will be invited to complete an application for assistance. Then people will be chosen in the order that they appear on that waiting list. So again, if you are outside of Marion County, that website is indianahousingnow.org. And if you are inside Marion County, that website is indyrent.org. And of course, we will update you if this gets extended. But as of right now, it is set to expire at 11:59. Reporting live, Kelsey Anderson, WRTV.
COVID-19 deaths and cases are not showing any signs of slowing down in our state. The State Department of Health reports 841 new cases. That's nearly 200 more cases that were confirmed on Monday. More than 88,000 total cases have been reported since the pandemic began. 15 new deaths were also reported, bringing the death toll in our state to 3,023. More than 1,010,000 Hoosiers have been tested for the virus so far.
And Raphael, the pandemic has put a tremendous strain on families all across central Indiana. Many of them are figuring out how to balance working while helping their kids do that virtual learning. So a program at IU is hoping to ease some of that burden. Indiana Kids program is offering tutoring, mentoring, and college readiness to students 6th through 12th grades. The programs are offered throughout the state at 7 IU campuses. This program has been happening for several years now, and while it's mostly gone virtual due to the coronavirus pandemic, their mission has stayed the same.
We think that all students and all families should have access to educational support, emotional support, and so that's really why we do what we do.
Well, in the coming weeks, they plan to expand this program to elementary-age children. We have more information on how to enroll your child at the IU Indiana Kids program. You can just go to this story on our app and on WRTV.com.
From WRTV investigates a consumer alert. A business suddenly shut down, leaving customers with unused gift cards. Studio 2000 Salon and Day Spa closed back on August the 7th, citing downtown violence and the impact of COVID-19. An email sent to customers did not give any options for consumers who still have gift cards or credits at the spa. Lena Wesco has a $200 gift certificate still left to spend at Studio 2000. She reached out to WRTV Investigates for help. We contacted the company via email and Facebook, and we are still waiting to hear back.
I feel like a gift certificate in the grand scheme of everything that's going on in the world is not a big deal, but I mean, it's personal to me. You know, I feel bad for them. They've been there forever. So, you know, I guess that's why I thought I had time.
The Attorney General's office says it's a good idea, given the COVID-19 climate, to spend gift cards you have as soon as possible. If a business closes suddenly, you can see if the competitors will honor the gift card. If the company is filing for bankruptcy, file a claim with the bankruptcy court. You could get your money back that way, possibly. Keep your gift cards just in case the business reemerges after the pandemic, and avoid spending a lot on gift cards at any one business.
It is 6:37 and our coverage of Democracy 2020 continues. Today we'll find out more about where you may be able to vote here in Marion County this November and whether there'll be more places to vote than there were back on the primary day in June. Our own Alyssa Donovan is joining us live this morning with more on what election officials are going to talk about later today. Hey, Alyssa.
Good morning. Yes, the Marion County Election Board is meeting this morning at 10 a.m. The expectation is that they will be finalizing the plans for the upcoming November election. That includes voting centers and plans for voting centers for that election. There were only 22 voting centers in Marion County during the June primary, which led to those very long lines. We know the reason for that was there was not enough poll workers, but according to the Marion County Clerk's office, they've already registered more than 1,000 poll workers and are on track to staff about 200 voting centers. Indiana is one of 6 states where voting by mail is not an option unless you can have an approved reason not related to coronavirus.
A vast majority of folks that I hear from want to vote actually in person, and thankfully we had a Exhibit A, the primary election, where we proved that we could do it safely.
The board's plan is expected to have additional safety measures to improve in-person voting, like using larger venues for voting centers. And the deadline to register to vote is October 5th, and then in-person early voting is expected to start on October 6th. And today at 2:30, during the governor's press conference, we are expected to hear more details on this election plan. Reporting live, I'm Alyssa Donovan, WRTV.
The coronavirus is having a disproportionate impact. Coming up next, how one community is coming together to deal with this hot spot in Marion County. You're watching Good Morning Indiana right here on WRTV.
Welcome back. The Marion County Health Department is working to contain COVID-19 hotspots. Those parts are in most of the county affected by the coronavirus. The department is trying to provide those communities with more resources and more testing sites so they can curb the spike in those cases. Raphael.
And Lauren, right now, the Latino community here in Marion County is feeling the brunt of the pandemic. And WRTV's Stephanie Wade with the community and the challenges.
According to the health department's hotspot map, the Latino community has experienced more cases of COVID-19 in Marion County. So we came here to see why and what the challenges are for this community.
It should be a concern. It should be something we need to look into.
Can I say that are we at the highest risk? Yes.
In Indiana, Latinos account for 7% of the state's population, yet 21% of our COVID cases. Often working in essential services means they're out in the community more and at a higher risk of contracting the virus. Plus, they lack access to health care and have more people living in households together.
They can't afford to stay home in quarantine like others. No, they have to go to work. They have to support their families.
According to the Marion County hotspot map, the highest amount of cases is in the 46204 zip code downtown and on the west side of Indy, the latest location for the health department to add a testing site near 38th and Lafayette. A good thing, Marlene Dotson with the Indiana Latino Institute says, because their community simply is not getting tested enough.
So they have, and can they take pay off time from work to be tested? Do they have someone who can watch their kids while they're getting tested? Will there be someone at the side who can speak Spanish and be able to translate for them?
Because of all of these barriers and inadequate personal protective equipment,
most our Latinos don't realize how harmful COVID-19 truly is. There's a lot of lack of education.
They're probably not even aware of the numbers. So once they get this idea or they're aware, they're probably going to see, we need to pay more attention to it.
Leaders hope to bring attention to this issue.
And I tell my Latino community, por favor, pónganse la máscara, put your mask on. Helps out the children, helps out the elderly, and we just want to keep safe.
Stephanie Wade, WRTV.
Stephanie, thank you. We also have a link to a map showing all the number of cases in each county in our state, including Marion County and outside of Marion County. That's at WRTV.com.
Well, it is still a tough job market for tens of thousands of people out there. Coming up next, we'll show you a convenience store company and other businesses who are hiring Hoosiers right now. Todd.
And Lauren, as you walk out the door this morning, temperatures are in the 70s. It's muggy, but we're going back into the 90s later on this afternoon for your high temperatures. We should be right around 90 degrees in northern locations, in Logansport as well as Kokomo. 93 expected to be the high temperature today in Indianapolis, and then highs to the south right around 90 as well. Today's the last day of the big time heat. Some changes head our way starting tomorrow and into the weekend. More on that coming up when Good Morning Indiana continues right here on WRTV.
Welcome back. Hiring Hoosiers continues to highlight job openings across central Indiana. GetGo says it's hiring 150 full and part-time positions in our area. The cafe and gas station company says it has open positions in Carmel, Zionsville, Avon, Plainfield, and Greenwood. Also from Hiring Hoosiers, IU Health is hosting a virtual hiring fair for nurses. This runs through tomorrow. We do have a link for you to register for an interview. It's in this story. Just go to hiringhoosiers.com. Indiana Mentor is a home and community-based human services provider. They're seeking direct support professionals. You would provide care and support to individuals with disabilities. You can learn more about all of these open jobs and other positions right now by visiting the Hiring Hoosiers Facebook page. You can also go to the job board. It's at hiringhoosiers.com. It is 6:48. All right, Raphael, we want to take a quick moment to wish a very happy birthday from all of us here on Good Morning Indiana to a couple of special people.
Lauren, you're in good company. Nicole Griffin is in good company. You're all August birthdays, and now we have two heroes to celebrate. They are two of the 8 remaining survivors of the sinking of the USS Indianapolis, which, as you know, happened at the end of World War II. First, a very happy 94th birthday today to this sailor, Granville Crane. And Mr. Crane is actually one of the younger survivors of the ship sinking, as he was still in his teens when he served during the war. And then we also want to acknowledge another gentleman who had a birthday 2 days ago. Bob Witzig was a fire controller second class aboard the Indianapolis. Mr. Witzig turned 96 years young this week. A big happy birthday to both heroes who served our country well and continue to remember that they are part of the greatest generation. Now time to check your forecast on what will be a very hot day, but Todd says cooler temperatures may be ahead. Good morning, Todd.
Yeah, you know, as we get into the weekend, Raphael, we're going to be back down into the 80s. So today's the last day. I think we can guarantee a 90-degree temperature. Tomorrow we'll get close, but it's really as we get further into the weekend as those cooler temperatures start to arrive, both for afternoon highs and also morning lows. Take a look at this hazy shot, though, as you look from IMS back towards downtown Indianapolis. It's a warm morning with temperatures that are sitting in the 60s and the 70s right now. And throughout the morning hours, hour by hour for you, we'll warm very quickly once we get to the 9 o'clock hour and beyond. Our temperatures will stay pretty steady here the next hour or two, but your noontime temperature already up to 86 degrees. Yesterday, we were at 87 for the noon hour, so it kind of gives you an idea where we're going later on this afternoon. And yesterday afternoon, we built in some clouds and then eventually some storms. I don't think we have as much in the way of cloud cover or storm potential here for the day today, so that is going to allow these temperatures to easily, I think, climb up into the low 90s. Should hit our high of about 92 to 93 degrees, I think, between about 3 and 4 o'clock this afternoon. And then temperatures will slowly fall back down into the 80s later on this evening. Overnight tonight, temperatures drop back down into the 70s. It's a warm overnight period for us once again, and that's going to set us up for a warm Thursday as well. Now, tomorrow we do bring some storms into the forecast, and there could be an isolated one around already in the morning, but the better thunderstorm chances are going to be in that scattered category as we get into the afternoon hours. And depending on how quick the clouds move in and then eventually the storms will determine how quick the temperatures will climb. If we keep the clouds away a little bit longer, it's not out of the question tomorrow we could get to 90 degrees, but you see those isolated storm chances around tomorrow morning on TrueCast here at 9 a.m. By far the better storm chances, though, will be in the afternoon hours. There you saw them blossom up, and then going forward we get a little bit of a break Friday morning, but Friday afternoon, and then especially into Friday afternoon and evening, and then eventually the overnight hours, we'll have the rain start to move in. And the rain as we get into Friday night and Saturday is going to be the remnants of what is now Hurricane Laura, which is down in the Gulf of Mexico, expected to make landfall tonight right on the Arkansas or the Louisiana-Texas border, rather, as a Category 3 or 4 storm. Then it moves up into Arkansas and eventually impacts us Friday night into Saturday. By Saturday afternoon, though, the front should be through. That'll clear us out and cool the temperatures down. Sunday looks great, and then highs right around 80 degrees to start next week after morning lows. That'll be very comfortable in the 50s both Sunday and Monday morning. Lauren?
All right, Todd, thanks so much. We do want to show you that traffic alert we've been monitoring this morning. Take a look here at our NDOT traffic camera on I-70. This is near State Road 267, where we have a crash closing all the eastbound lanes. And while our camera's a little blurry here, I wanted to show you this view because you can see how long that backup stretches through the area. So if you are traveling eastbound on I-70, you need to get off the interstate at State Road 39 back in the Monrovia area. You can take that northbound to US 40 and then take US 40 and eastbound towards Indianapolis to avoid this major backup and snarl in your commute. We'll continue to keep a close eye on what's going on here and let you know when lanes are reopening, but everything has been at a standstill for about the past hour or so. Give yourself that extra time to reroute this morning. Raphael?
Yeah, you'll need some patience in that area. Lauren, thank you so much for that. By the way, Lauren, I need a loan because he was as big as the city lights down in Times Square. And now you have a chance to own a piece of hip-hop history. How you can buy it if you have a little more money. That story coming up right here on Good Morning Indiana. Welcome back to Good Morning Indiana. Lauren, you are morning royalty, so you may want this. Okay. I'll chip in some cash if you need a loan. An iconic hip-hop artifact is now back in the limelight, and Lauren, Casey needs it.
Okay, we'll see about that. Well, this man was considered a fool because he dropped out of school, but the notorious B.I.G. spread love the Brooklyn way in the 1990s. This crown, worn by B.I.G. for one of the most famous photographs in hip-hop history, is now going up for auction. He wore it during his 1997 King of New York photo shoot for Rap Pages magazine. The auction house says the crown and several other artifacts from the 1980s and 90s hip-hop scene will be auctioned off September 15th. This crown will likely sell for around $300,000. Now, Raphael, before you were a Hoosier, you lived in New York, so I don't know. I think maybe you would want this crown. Maybe you could afford it, too.
We could share it. We could share it.
Well, someone who deserves a crown for the weather last week is Todd Clausen. This week, it's a little hot.
Yeah, you know, we'll get there again, Lauren, as we get into the coming days. But as for today and tomorrow, a lot of heat around, a lot of humidity, 93, 90 on Thursday. Cooler weather, though, eventually by the weekend.